My name is Naomi Grace Parker. And there is one night in Seoul I have never been able to forget. Not because something terrible happened, but because something beautiful happened when I had already lost hope. I had traveled to South Korea alone after my mother died. Her name was Evelyn Parker, and Seoul had been her dream. She loved Korean dramas, Korean food, Korean music, and every time she saw Seoul glowing at night on television, she would smile and say, "Naomi, one day, you and I will go there." But cancer does not care about dreams. Before she died, she gave me her little travel notebook. Inside it, she had written all the places she wanted us to visit together. At the bottom of the last page, she wrote, "Go even if I can't. Live for both of us." So I went. But the truth was, I was not really living. I was only moving. Walking through beautiful places with a broken heart, eating food my mother had wanted to taste, taking pictures I never posted because every smile felt fake. On my third night in Seoul, I went to a night market. I bought hotteok because my mother had circled it 3 times in her notebook. It was warm, sweet, and soft. For one small moment, I smiled. Then I looked beside me and remembered she was not there. That was when the tears came. I quickly wiped my face and checked the time. I had stayed too long. I rushed to the subway station through the cold rain, but when I got to the platform, the last train had already left. Not almost left, not about to leave, gone. The screen above the tracks was blank. The platform was almost empty, and my phone was showing 3%. 3%? I didn't speak Korean. I didn't know the area. My hotel was somewhere across town, in a neighborhood whose name I could barely pronounce. I opened my ride app and tried to book a car. A driver accepted. For a few seconds, I felt saved. I stood outside the station in the freezing rain, watching the little car icon move closer on the map. Then the driver arrived. He rolled down his window, and I showed him my hotel address. He nodded and pointed to the app payment. I smiled nervously and said, "Yes, card." But when the app tried to charge my card, it failed. I tried again. Failed. Then my bank sent a message. "Suspicious activity detected. Card temporarily blocked." My stomach turned cold. I opened my wallet. I had only 17,001 left from the money I'd changed earlier. Small cash I'd kept for snacks and souvenirs. The ride was over 40,001. I held the cash out anyway, hoping the driver would understand. He looked at the money, looked at the failed payment message, then shook his head apologetically. He was not cruel. He was just a tired driver in the rain, following the rules. He said something in Korean I could not understand, pointed to the failed payment, then drove away. I stood there watching his taillights disappear. That was the moment I truly felt alone. No train, no working card, no taxi, no Korean, almost no battery, and no mother to call. I tried calling my hotel. No answer. I tried calling my sister back home. The call failed. My phone dropped to 1%. I looked up at the dark sky and whispered, "Mom, I can't do this." And then I heard a soft voice beside me. "괜찮아요?" I turned. An elderly Korean woman was standing there, holding a yellow umbrella. She was small, maybe in her late 60s, wearing a dark padded coat and a knitted scarf. Her face was wrinkled, but her eyes were gentle. She spoke again in Korean. I shook my head quickly. "I'm sorry, I don't understand." She looked at me for a moment, then she moved closer and shifted her yellow umbrella over my head. Just like that, without asking, without knowing me. She pulled out her phone, opened a translator, typed slowly, and showed me the screen. It said, "You are lost?" That sentence broke something inside me. I nodded. "Yes," I whispered. "I'm very lost." She typed again. "Where do you stay?" My hands were shaking as I showed her my hotel address. A second later, my phone died completely. The screen went black in my hand. "No, no, no," I whispered. The old woman did not panic. She studied the hotel name before the phone died, typed it into her own phone, checked the map, and looked down the street. Then she pointed to herself, pointed to me, then pointed down the road. "Follow me." I hesitated. A stranger in a foreign country was asking me to follow her through rainy streets at night, but when I looked at her face, I did not see danger. I saw concern, the kind of concern my mother used to have when I came home late. She typed again. "Come. Rain is cold." It was not a suggestion, it was a mother's order, so I stepped under the yellow umbrella. And we began walking. Seoul at night was beautiful, but that night it felt endless. Neon signs reflected in puddles, restaurants were closing, steam rose from food stalls. Rainwater ran along the pavement like little silver rivers. Every few minutes, the old woman shifted the umbrella more toward me, even though it meant the rain fell on her shoulder. I noticed it the second time. By the fourth time, half of her coat was wet. I tried to move the umbrella back toward her. "No, please, you'll get wet." She gently pushed my hand away and typed, "Young people catch cold too." I laughed through my tears. It came out broken. "I'm sorry," I said. "I'm so sorry." She typed, "Why sorry?" "For troubling you." She read the translation, then looked at me like I had said something strange. She typed again, "You are not trouble. You are someone's child." I stopped walking. That sentence hit me harder than the cold. You are someone's child. For weeks after my mother died, I had felt like I belonged to no one. Like the person who worried about me most in this world had disappeared, and now I was just floating. But this woman, who did not even know my name, was holding an umbrella over me like I belonged to her. As we walked, she typed again. "You came alone?" I nodded. "Yes, alone." She looked at me with sadness in her eyes. Then she placed her hand on her chest and said softly, "Yama." I knew that word. Mother. Then she pointed at me. For a moment I did not understand. Then I did. She was telling me, "Tonight, I am your mother." I covered my mouth and cried quietly under her yellow umbrella. I cried for the train I missed, for the card that failed, for the fear, for my mother, for every lonely moment I had swallowed since the funeral. And this woman, this stranger, simply kept walking beside me, not rushing me, not judging me, just walking. After almost 15 minutes, we reached my hotel. Warm light spilled through the glass doors, and I almost collapsed with relief. "There," I said, pointing. "That's it." The old woman smiled like she had just delivered her own daughter home safely. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the 17,001. It was not enough for the taxi, but it was all I had. I held it out to her with both hands. "Please," I said, "for helping me. Thank you." Her face changed immediately. She looked hurt, almost offended. She stepped back and shook her head. "No." I panicked. "Please, you walked in the rain because of me." She shook her head firmly. Then she typed into her translator. Her fingers moved slowly, carefully. When she turned the phone toward me, the words on the screen said, "If my son was lost somewhere, I hope someone helps him too." I froze. The rain kept falling behind her. Cars passed. The hotel doors opened and closed, but I could not move. That sentence entered my heart and stayed there. She had not helped me because I could pay her. She had not helped me because I deserved it. She helped me because somewhere in the world, she had a son. And maybe once, he had been lost too. I lowered the money slowly, placed my hand over my heart, and bowed. "Thank you," I whispered. "Thank you so much." She smiled. Then she gently adjusted my wet scarf, the way my mother used to. That one small touch finished me. I cried again. She typed one last message. "Eat something warm. Sleep. Tomorrow will be better." Then she bowed, turned around, and walked back into the rain. I stood at the hotel entrance, watching her yellow umbrella grow smaller and smaller until the night swallowed her. And the saddest part was this. I did not even know her name. Inside the hotel lobby, the receptionist saw my wet coat. my shaking hands, and my dead phone. Her name was Mina, and she spoke English. She gave me a charger and asked, "Are you okay?" I told her everything. The missed train, the taxi, the card, the old woman, the yellow umbrella. When I finished, Mina was quiet. Then she said softly, "I think I know her. Her name is Han Young-suk. Many people around this station know her." I smiled. She must be a very kind woman. Mina looked toward the rain outside. "She had a son," she said. Had? That word changed the temperature of the room. "What happened?" I asked. Mina hesitated. Her son, Minjun, went to study overseas years ago. One winter night, he missed the last bus. His phone died. He did not speak the language very well. He asked people for help, but no one stopped. My chest tightened. Mina's voice became quieter. They found him the next morning. I covered my mouth. Mina wiped her eyes. After that, Mrs. Han started helping lost foreigners near the station. She says she cannot save her son anymore, but maybe she can help someone else's child get home. The next morning, I bought a blue scarf. My mother had wanted us to wear matching scarves in Seoul. I had bought one for her before she died, but I had never been able to use it. I went back to the station. I asked shop owners. I walked the same streets, and near a small flower shop, tucked between a pharmacy and a bakery, I saw it, the yellow umbrella, folded neatly beside the door. Inside, the old woman was arranging flowers. When she looked up and saw me, her eyes widened. Then she smiled. I bowed awkwardly and opened my translator. "You helped me in the rain. I wanted to thank you properly." She waved her hand like it was nothing, but it was not nothing, not to me. I took out the blue scarf and held it with both hands. I typed, "I bought this for my mother before she died. That night, you reminded me of her. Please accept this, not as payment, but as love." She read the message slowly. Her smile faded. Her eyes filled with tears. She touched the scarf gently, then touched my cheek. She said something in Korean. I checked the translation. It means, "Your mother sent you safely." I broke down right there in the flower shop. And this woman, this stranger, this grieving mother with the yellow umbrella, pulled me into her arms. Not tightly, not dramatically. Just enough to say, "You are not alone." Before I left Seoul, Mrs. Han gave me a small handwritten note. Mina translated it for me. It said, "Dear Naomi, when you are lost, do not be ashamed. Everyone is lost sometimes. When someone helps you, remember. One day, help another person. Then, we are all walking each other home." I still have that note. Years have passed, but every time it rains, I remember her. I remember the yellow umbrella. I remember the cold street. I remember the woman who refused my money because kindness was not something she was selling. And I remember her words. If my son was lost somewhere, I hope someone helps him too. 3 years later, I was back in my own city. It was winter, cold, dark. I was leaving work late when I saw a young man standing outside a bus station. He had no coat, a dead phone in his hand, and panic in his eyes. People walked past him. I almost did too. I was tired, I was late, I had my own problems. Then my hand touched the small yellow umbrella keychain hanging from my bag, the one Mrs. Han had given me before I left Seoul. And I stopped. I turned around and walked back to him. "Are you lost?" I asked. He looked embarrassed. "Yes," he whispered. "I don't know what to do." I smiled. I opened my umbrella and held it over both of us. Because once, in Seoul, when I had 17,001, a dead phone and no hope left, a woman named Han Young-suk taught me something I will carry forever. Kindness is not small. Kindness is shelter. Kindness is a bridge. Kindness is someone saying, "You are not trouble. You are someone's child." That night, I missed the last train. My phone died. My card failed. My taxi left. But I was not abandoned. A stranger found me. A mother found me. And under one yellow umbrella in Seoul, I learned that the world can still be gentle, And some people still treat strangers like human beings first.